Hey, what's going on? Just coming at you live and in color. Well, not necessarily live. I mean, I'm live right now, this live, making this video, but by the time you look at it, it'll be considered a recording. But hey, I'm still in color, so one out of two, that's pretty darn good. But what made me want to make this video is that the conversation that I was privy to, and I say privy to, I was there as a listener. Um, I was conversing with a couple of people, and they were more so conversing with each other. They kind of involved me a tad bit, and they asked my opinion about something that has to do with this video that I'm making. And I gave my opinion, and it was brief and swift. And but I did continue to participate with the conversation more so in a listening capacity because I like to listen to people. It's cool for me to listen to people to learn what they believe. To listen to people's belief systems, and I don't mind listening to people's belief systems at all. They want to tell me what they believe and why they believe what they believe, as long as they don't try to force anything on me, or get offended if they ask me for my opinion about something. Then believe what you want to believe. Do you? But what made me make this particular video is a comment that one of the ladies made, and she talked about the archangel Michael. Now, if you've read the book of Revelation, the archangel Michael, he was mentioned in the New Testament, and he's mentioned in other areas of the Bible too. But he's the chief angel that basically went to war against Satan and his angels in heaven and threw him out. And so this lady, she's of the Catholic faith, and she made a comment about praying to Saint Michael. That's what she called the angel, Saint Michael. Saying a prayer to Michael, the archangel, for protection. And before I go any further, let me just say what I gave my opinion about early on during the conversation wasn't about this particular situation, this particular phenomena, if you want to call it that, about Michael being a protecting angel. But in my mind, I was like, I don't recall Michael that ever being his job, especially with regard to the information in the Bible. I don't recall that being Michael's job, being like a guardian angel, a protector. According to my understanding from what I read, and I correlate that to the information that I read in the book of Enoch as well, Michael was is kind of like a enforcer type person, angel, more of a angel that executes justice. For instance, you've probably heard that biblical verse, "Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord." Well, when the Lord needs to execute vengeance, guess who does it? Michael. He's in charge of, getting it done. justice. And also, he's also been known to be the angel of chaos. Now, don't get the wrong idea, because chaos sometimes is involved when justice is being executed. Like, let's say if you were to have some kind of accident, in your brain, you might consider it a chaotic moment. Well, the truth of the matter is, Michael could very well be the entity that caused that accident or made it happen, because the accident could be karma related. Like, most of us tend to relate stuff like that to satanic intervention, to Satan being involved with stuff like that. Two people have a wreck, and one might blurt out, "It ain't nothing but the devil. The devil's busy." Actually, it could have very well been Michael. And here's why. Michael executes justice. And, it's basically karma. Like, every action has a reaction, cause and effect type thing. And Michael executes karma at this level of reality, at this 3D reality. Let's say, like, if you go and do something overtly out in the open air, in the world, and you think nobody's looking, or you've gotten away with something. Well, technically, in theory, the Archangel Michael, who supposedly is this big, massive, colossal angel, and his, second in charge angels and his legions of angels that are swarming around, watching over human happenstances. They're watching, and you just never know. Like, say for instance, let's say if you do something overtly, like you hit somebody, or you even verbally, cut somebody out or something, I don't know, and you put that negative karma out there. Well, that action is gonna jumpstart an angelic reaction. So somewhere down the line, karma is gonna come back, and these angels, Michael and his angels, are responsible for that, and that's justice. And you might do something that's wrong, overtly, think you got away with it. The next day, something, some kind of bad luck happens to you, or the next week, the next month, the next year, and you might not even be able to relate it to that particular instance where you did something bad, and it came back to get you. It came back to bite you. But that's Michael. Michael's doing that. But don't get me wrong, Satan is responsible too sometimes. Sometimes the devil is responsible. And it's kind of hard to know the difference sometimes. But the difference being is that Satan comes at you when you do something inwardly. Like when you think a negative thought towards somebody. Like these angels, like Michael and his angels, they don't have access to your mind. They can't read your mind, so they don't know what's going on in your heads. But Satan does, because a lot of people don't want to face reality. But the reason why people's minds are so negative and so hostile, why people are so angry natured, is because they're spiritually connected to the devil. And that connection happened. It's explained in the Bible's book of Genesis. when Adam and Eve disobeyed God, disobedience of God means spiritual disconnection from God. So you have to have a spiritual source. So you connect to the source of your disobedience, which would be Satan. So now Satan has access to your mind, and he knows what's going on in your mind, and it's the presence, the dark energy of Satan that pretty much, and I'm talking in biblical metaphors here, but it's pretty much the presence of Satan that causes your neurosis and your neurotic mind and your negative thoughts. Sometimes your mind just goes a mile a minute with, all kind of bad stuff. And you think to yourself, I need a break. Satan will never give you a break. But he's responsible for all that. And the metaphoric symbolism is told in the Bible's book of Genesis when Adam and Eve disobeyed God. And after all the rigmarole went down, Adam blamed Eve for his disobedience. Eve blamed the serpent. So after all was said and done, after all the blaming, God told them all, you know what? Enough. And so he told the woman that her seed will be at enmity, will be enemies with, tongue tied here, will be enemies with the serpent's seed. So that's kind of he also went on to say, you shall bruise his head and he shall bruise your heel. And that's kind of like a chaotic connection, so to speak. The heel is spiritual symbolism. The sole of the feet is spiritual symbolism for your understanding. So the serpent's gonna corrupt your understanding. And the only way that the serpent can do that is to have that spiritual connection to you. And it's a negative one because he's bruising your heel. He's bruising your understanding. Hurting your understanding. And likewise, you're bruising his head. Your understanding is, how can I say it? You're bruising his head. The head is, symbolism for spirituality, the consciousness. So, you're kind of connected to the consciousness of Satan. It's kind of like what that is, as opposed to being connected to the consciousness of God. So, that being said, negative thinking could draw bad karma to you as well, just like negative actions. So when it's negative thinking that draws bad actions to you, then Satan is the one perpetrating those bad happenings to you. And we learned that in the book of Job. In the beginning of the book of Job, Job is constantly performing his religious rituals and praying and doing all kinds of religious stuff on behalf of his children, because he's saying in his mind, it may be that they've rejected God or cursed God, and so I better make this prayer and supplication for them, just in case in their minds they decide to curse God. So Job is kind of like working a little black magic there. And as you know, it drew Satan to him, because, you know, it talks about Satan roaming the earth, and God asks him where he's coming from, and he tells him, you know, just walk roaming the earth. And God says, have you considered my servant Job? And why is that? Because Job was doing that negative prayer, worrying, negative thinking thing, and Satan came to him. And, you know, if you read the book of Job, you saw all the chaos that happened in his life before he finally figured out what was happening. And it was all because of the devil having that mental connection with him. And it had some very harsh consequences. So, when bad things happen to people, it can be either Michael, the archangel, doing it, the angel of justice, or it could be Satan. You know, Satan the accuser. But that being said, I mean, is there an angel who is supposed to be a protector of people? You know, technically there is. Technically, that job, the protecting angel, is supposedly the archangel Raphael, because more so in the book of Enoch, it talks about Raphael being over human spirits in a protection type of way. Also, healing of the body. You know, physical ailments, even mental ailments. Because technically, his presence is supposed to be what the influx of the Holy Spirit is. That's supposed to renew your mind. But yeah, that's technically Raphael's job, which is, again, why I wanted to make this video. Because when the lady said I prayed to Saint Michael for protection, I thought to myself, why would you do that? I mean, isn't Raphael supposed to be, that's his job, right? And what's so strange about the situation that this woman was a pretty sickly woman, you know, had chronic physical ailments. So it would make sense to pray to Raphael for healing if you're going to pray to angels. I mean, I personally don't pray to angels. That's a practice of Catholicism, Catholics, that I know of, and who knows, other people might do so too. But I just thought that to myself. Why not pray to Raphael? You know, to heal your body and heal your mind. If you're going to pray to an angel, obviously she had the roles mixed up from what I understood. But who knows? I mean, I only know the Bible. I don't know all the other side doctrines of Catholicism. So they might have other side doctrines that say otherwise. I mean, I wouldn't know. I just, like I said, I know the book, the Bible, and I know the book of Enoch. And a lot of those other side doctrines came centuries later. You know, people just added and made stuff up to go along with it to, enhance their own religious belief systems. Kind of like Jewish midrash. You know, the Jews, they create what's called midrash. They've given themselves the authority. If somebody asks a question about, let's say, the first 5 books of Moses in the Bible, and they don't have the answer, then they feel like they have the authority to make up a story and say that it's true, to give an answer to something that they don't know. And yeah, Catholics Catholicism has done the same. I mean, they get a lot of their ideas about hell from Dante's Divine Comedy. But that's not the subject matter of this talk. But anyway, yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. If you decide to pray to an angel for protection, now you know who to pray to. And if you decide to do that, I wish you well. Anyway, thank you for listening. Hope all is well with you, as well as can be. And God bless.